You ever seen a tow truck drag away a fire captain's SUV during an active rescue, right in front of a panicked crowd with a child fighting for every breath? Because I have, and if you told me that morning I'd end my day as the main character in a viral HOA horror show, I'd have laughed right in your face. But life's funny like that, or maybe not funny at all. So let me set the scene for you. I'm sprinting down the HOA sidewalk, boots pounding the pavement, sweat pouring down my back, every second ticking in my ears. I'm not just any firefighter, I'm the guy in charge that day, the one with my name on every rescue log, and the only thing standing between a scared 8-year-old and a pile of collapsed lumber. But when I round the corner, what do I see? My marked fire SUV lights still flashing, being hoisted up by a tow truck, my breaching tools, life-saving department issued, still locked inside. And who's orchestrating this mess? You guessed it. Karen, arms folded, smirk painted across her face, standing there like she just caught me robbing her flower beds. Let me back up a sec. The day had started like every other double shift, 36 hours of running on caffeine and adrenaline. Barely enough energy left in me to dream about a hot shower and maybe 2 hours of sleep before another department drill. But as soon as I park at home, my radio crackles. Blake, my junior officer, panicked, reporting a garage collapse just 3 blocks away, a kid pinned under the wreckage ladder truck delayed by a power line. I don't think. I act. I whip my SUV around, slap on the emergency lights, and race through the only open path, the HOA clubhouse lot, which, by the way, is empty as a ghost town. Now, I'm not blocking anyone's driveway. I've got my magnetic fire captain placard clear as day. I bolt out, ready to grab the tools, realize I need the key from inside. So I dash into the clubhouse. Manager knows me, knows what's at stake. I'm in there, 3 minutes tops. And when I come back out, it's like I've stepped into a bad sitcom. There's Karen circling my SUV with a clipboard like she's about to knight herself queen of the HOA. "This isn't a fire lane," she sneers, "and you don't have department plates. You're parked illegally." I already called the tow. I try to explain. "No," I plead. "This is a rescue vehicle. There's a child. My equipment is critical. Every second counts." She just sighs, tells me public servants think they're above the rules and all, but waves the tow truck forward. The kid behind the wheel gives me an apologetic shrug. Karen promises to ruin his career if he doesn't play along. You know what I mean, it's like she gets off on the power. I shout one more time, "My tools are in there, this is a life or death situation." But she's immovable. The SUV lifts. My heart drops, and I'm suddenly a first responder without the means to respond. I radio Blake, "Break the news." He's cursing loud enough to rattle the static. We do it the hard way, hand tools, grit muscle. We get the boy out, but barely. He's blue-lipped, neck in a brace, rushed to the ER. He'll live, but only just. Meanwhile, my SUV is locked up at the tow yard, my gear hostage to paperwork. Get this, since Karen initiated the private tow, I need her signature to retrieve it, even though I'm the supervisor. I'm fuming, breathing through my teeth, and already feeling that sense of injustice crawl under my skin. Then my phone explodes. News has spread thanks to a live mic at the scene and Blake's offhand comment to a reporter. Social media picks up the scent like blood in the water. Within hours, there's a picture of Karen grinning beside my SUV plastered across every screen in the city, hashtags, flying memes popping up left and right. Some are actually hilarious. Karen photoshopped onto a firefighter calendar holding a burning clipboard. But when I see Jeremy's mom, her face streaked with tears, saying she nearly lost her son because the rescue tools were towed, something shifts in me. This isn't just a joke. This is real harm. And Karen is the reason why. By morning, I'm the epicenter of a PR hurricane. Emails, texts, voicemails from people I haven't heard from in years. City officials, media fellow firefighters. Everyone's outraged, and everyone's got a story about Karen's reign of petty terror. Turns out she's made a hobby out of harassing city workers, calling in made-up violations, bullying permit clerks, reporting anyone who didn't bow to her clipboard. But this time she targeted the wrong guy. Now, the city attorney's on the case, Detective Marissa Lang, who's got zero patience for HOA dictatorships, wants a full report, and I hand over everything: photos, logs, recordings, even the angry voice messages Karen left on the tow company's line. And then, as if on cue, a twist I never saw coming, a retired board member named Richard surfaces. He's got receipts, audio files, and an entire folder of Karen's greatest hits, including one where she calls first responders blue-collar excuses for skipping paperwork. That goes public, and the blowback is instant. The HOA board scrambles to distance themselves. Neighbors gather outside the clubhouse with homemade signs: "Firefighters over, fines, don't let Karen kill us." A petition to remove the board gathers thousands of signatures, and suddenly, Karen's once unshakable authority looks about as sturdy as a wet napkin. While Karen hides in her house, her car now sporting a giant magnetic decal that reads "Emergency Ego Unit, the rest of us get to work." I keep my head down, keep answering calls, but the memory of Jeremy's rescue and how close it came to tragedy haunts me. His family files a civil claim. The city launches a formal investigation. News outlets start calling it the Karen Clause, demanding real reform. And you know what? Maybe for the first time there's a chance to make things right. Enter Diana Herrera. City councilwoman, former EMT. She calls me directly, says she's drafting new legislation to curb HOA power over public safety, and wants me to testify. I'm not a public speaker, but I'm mad enough to give it a shot. So I show up, uniform, pressed voice steady, and I tell them no one gets to pause an emergency for a parking violation. Not on my watch. The room goes silent, then erupts in applause. That's more relief than celebration. Karen's not there, but her legacy hangs over the chamber like smoke. Anonymous sources leak her internal emails. She kept lists of problem neighbors tracked who left their trash cans out, fined parents for letting their kids ride bikes. Her operation wasn't community service, it was a one-woman regime. The fallout is swift and brutal. HOA contracts suspended. The board dissolved, citywide audits ordered. The house Karen once ruled now sits empty, blinds drawn, a foreclosure notice tacked to the door. And in its place, the neighborhood starts to breathe again. Kids ride bikes, families plant flowers, people wave from their porches instead of hiding behind hedges. But it isn't all triumph. In court, I testify just the facts, no grandstanding, and the judge's decision is scathing: obstruction of emergency services, gross negligence, permanent ban from HOA boards. Financial restitution for the family audits for the HOA, a city ordinance that guarantees no one will ever tow an emergency vehicle again without direct police oversight. And here's the thing, justice doesn't always look or feel like a movie ending. Sometimes it's just a new family moving in laughter, echoing across a street that used to be silent, the fire cache installed in honor of every second that matters. Sometimes it's Jeremy walking with a limp but alive, handing me a drawing of my SUV with the words, "My hero has a truck." Sometimes it's as simple as a handshake between neighbors, a mural on the clubhouse wall, or a note from a 6-year-old saying, "Thank you for fighting the fire lady." Karen's name still floats around. Last I heard, she's under investigation for budget fraud, koi pond permits, the least of her problems. But nobody really cares what happens to her now. The city passes the Emergency Response Protection Act, banning private towing during emergencies and requiring all HOAs to complete public safety training. It's a win, even if it comes dressed in paperwork and quiet satisfaction rather than parades and speeches. And so life moves on, slowly, quietly, better. We hold community barbecues where the old clubhouse once stood for intimidation. We paint murals, share stories, teach CPR to anyone who wants to learn. I keep working, keep responding, keep an eye on the neighborhood from a different angle. I'm not just a firefighter now. I'm part of a community that learned almost too late that rules mean nothing if they come at the cost of a child's life. Some folks say stories like this are rare. I don't think they have to be. Sometimes it just takes one fire, one clipboard, and the courage to say enough. So now I leave it to you as I write to push back. Should power ever outweigh common sense in a crisis? Tell me what you think. because the story's not really over. It's just waiting for the next chapter. And honestly, it could use a little more community and a lot less Karen.